Have you ever been so disappointed in yourself that you got tired of being yourself? N- Not tired of a task, not tired of a job. Tired of the version of you that keeps showing up no matter how many promises you make. This time, I'll change. This time, I'll be disciplined. And 3 hours later, you're still scrolling, still watching, still escaping something you can't even name. There's a name for what's happening in your brain right now. It's called a shame spiral. And once you understand how it works, it stops controlling you quite so easily. Psychologists have a term for what happens after repeated failure: learned helplessness. It was first observed in the 1960s by Martin Seligman. When effort stops producing results enough times, the brain doesn't just get discouraged, it starts predicting failure before you even try. That's the part people miss. It's not laziness sitting on your chest at 11 at night. It's your brain running a prediction model, one built from every broken promise you've made to yourself, and that model says, don't bother, it won't work anyway. So the shame spiral looks like this. You fail at something small. You feel shame. Shame makes effort feel dangerous, so you avoid it. Avoidance guarantees the next failure, and the cycle tightens. This is why willpower alone rarely breaks it. You're not fighting laziness, you're fighting a prediction engine trained on your own history. Here's the part that explains the exhaustion. Not the sadness, the exhaustion. Neuroscientists have found that emotional pain and physical pain activate overlapping regions in the brain. Chronic shame doesn't just feel bad, it registers biologically closer to an injury than a mood. That's why just try harder doesn't work. You wouldn't tell someone with a sprained ankle to just walk faster. And there's a reason it starts leaking into everything. One bad day becomes maybe I'll never change. One mistake becomes I ruin everything. This is called overgeneralization, a well-documented cognitive distortion where a single event gets rewritten as a permanent verdict about who you are. Notice the shift in language when this happens. I didn't finish the report quietly turns into I'm someone who doesn't finish things. One is a fact about Tuesday, the other is a life sentence. Your brain wrote that sentence in about half a second, and you probably didn't even notice the moment it happened. You're not weak for believing it. Your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do: pattern match fast and assume the pattern will repeat. It's just aiming that instinct at the wrong target, you. So what actually interrupts learned helplessness? Not motivation, not discipline. Small, low-stakes proof. Research on self-efficacy. The belief that your actions can produce results shows that it isn't rebuilt through big wins, it's rebuilt through tiny, repeated evidence that effort still works. A finished meal, a returned message, 10 minutes out of bed. Here's why size doesn't matter, but completion does. Your brain isn't grading the task, it's grading the outcome. I said I'd do something and I did it is the only sentence it's listening for. It doesn't care if the something was climbing a mountain or washing one plate. The prediction model can't tell the difference. It just logs a win. That's not lowering your standards. That's how the model gets retrained. Each small completed action is a data point telling your brain, effort sometimes pays off. Enough data points, and the spiral loses its grip. Modern life sells you a lie, that your worth is measured in output, but the brain doesn't distinguish between I'm resting and I'm failing unless you teach it to. So today's win might be getting out of bed, eating one real meal, replying to one message. That's not a low bar. That's a data point for a nervous system trying to relearn that. Trying is safe. You don't have to fix your whole life this week. You just have to interrupt the spiral once. That's it. One small proof that effort still means something. The guilt of not being productive enough often hurts more than the rest itself does. So if today all you did was survive it, that counts. That's not nothing. That's the spiral interrupted. If this helped you understand your own mind a little better, that's exactly what Mind Pattern is here for. Breaking down why your brain does what it does so you can work with it instead of against it. You're not broken. You're running an old prediction. And predictions can be retrained.